Sherwood marshalling the forces in front of him. A lot gathered on the near post, so not easy for the goalkeeper. In swinging, and Sherwood going for it, two hands, and catching very clean. Not too much pressure on the goalkeeper. A nice clean catch. From beyond Gidman. This is Lohman. Jenkins at the far post, and Blissett first time! Right foot just missing the angle. Luther Blissett, who scored both goals when Watford knocked Manchester United out of the League Cup at Old Trafford in 1978, was not far away from one there. Came steaming in on it, just over. Anxious moments when you're that age, and it's the third round of the FA Cup. And we're going to have a Manchester United substitution. Lou Macari is going to come into the action in place of Remy Moses. Moses limps off and Lou Macari comes on. And with experience of 3 FA Cup finals, played very well in the opening games of the season for Manchester United, and now struggling to get his place back. No pressure here on Bolton, plenty of time for him to check where Stapleton is. Warren's header, Pritchett collects. On for Jenkins, and turn for Blissett. Oh, his finishing leaving a little bit to be desired. Luther Blissett has certainly had the chances that there have been going, and he was put in the clear here by Jenkins. Was a little bit hasty, should certainly have pulled a save at least out of Bailey. Stapleton. That was off Lohman, so it's a corner. Conceded from all of 30 yards out. Gordon McQueen injured and not playing for Manchester United today. I guess he probably would have been in to cope with Ross Jenkins at the other end, and would certainly have been useful in this kind of situation. Lou Macari got up though, off the line by Taylor. And so it remains 0-0. It was a good corner, good header. And Blissett comes out with it. Lohman stumbled and Gidman slid through, all out of play. Jenkins has caused more than a few problems, and a quick cross in, and a great save by Bailey from Taylor. Very good, swift, sharp move by Watford, and one of the best chances of the game so far that brought out a fine save. Jenkins winkles it out. Pritchett crosses, and Taylor comes in, and Bailey makes a fine save. Bolton set himself for that. Birtles outmanoeuvred him. Barnes. One for Blissett to chase. Moran with him. Jenkins going far post. Moran got in the tackle for the corner. A minute from half-time. Perhaps a last fling for Watford before the players go in. It was looked on as one of the great psychological moments, and the Watford fans trying to lift their team to a goal just the moment they would wish. Taylor's corner, hanging. Good punch by Bailey under a lot of pressure. Taylor to try again. And a good header from Lohman, and a good shot, and it's gone in! It's 1-0, 30 seconds from half-time. I think it finally went in off Gidman, but I doubt whether he could have stopped it, and Lohman is entitled to the credit. Jan Lohman, who scored against Charlton on his debut last month, gets another goal in only his third appearance for Watford. Taylor turns it over, having seen his corner cleared. Lohman's header, Lohman's shot, and it goes in off Kidman. Seeing it again, I suppose there must be a slight element of doubt about whether it will be debited as an own goal or whether Lohman will get the credit. He certainly deserves it for two very fine efforts. Happy day for the Watford fans, not so happy for Gary Bailey in the Manchester United goal. Nobody can say that Watford won't have earned their victory if they can just hold on now for another minute and a half. Jerry Armstrong, the sub, loving it. Scoreboard adding its support. And some very weary faces there in that 6-yard area as Taylor swings in the corner. All helped out by Wilkins. Blissett. Blissett again. Armstrong couldn't meet it. It was very hard. And with a minute to go, it probably doesn't matter. Having said that, one mustn't write off entirely Manchester United's chances, because they certainly made a few. And they'll keep going to the end. But it's beginning to look as though it's going to be a red, yellow and black day for Watford, and just for Manchester United, a straightforward black day. One last chance perhaps from the free kick. On my watch, 20 seconds to go. Wilkins chipping in the free kick. They go right through for a goal kick, and a cheer of relief from the Watford fans. 5 seconds left on my watch, and we're now into whatever time Mr. Hunting decides to add on. Just look at the marvellous sight of those massed fans behind the players. They've been behind them in every sense in this game. Robson. And the final whistle goes. Watford have knocked Manchester United out of the cup by 1-0. Some heroics from both goalkeepers, a match of non-stop excitement, and a goal that followed two efforts, a header and a shot by Jan Lohman. It's finally turned into the net by John Gidman. Pat Rice, who was unable to take part in the second half, hobbles away, knowing that Watford will fight again another day.
Well, what a fantastic victory it was for Watford, and indeed what a fine cup tie it was as well. So much so that the Manchester United manager, Ron Atkinson, said if they play as they did in the first half all the time, they'll probably win the cup. In the first half, they were brilliant, and they were better than us in every department.
But here's Terry with the long throw. Jenkins up with Martin, that's a corner. Watford still have promotion to go for, third in Division 2, but thriving on the incentive of playing First Division sides, which they would hope to do regularly next season. Hacking the near post again for the corner, which Pritchett will take. Away by Cross. Leave it, says Bolton. That's a fair ball. Back to Pritchett. Prefers his left foot. Here's Barnes. Callahan. Oh, it's gone in. Jerry Armstrong got a touch. West Ham are appealing for a possible offside, but it's been brushed aside. And Watford are in front. Got the first touch, and Jerry Armstrong just touched the ball over the line. to give Watford a marvellous start to the second half and to inject life now into this cup tie, to say the least. One of the cup-winning team of 2 years ago. He's the West Ham substitute, and he's going to come on in place of Jimmy Neighbour. Pearson's had a lot of experience over the years, especially in the FA Cup, involved in finals with Manchester United and West Ham. Is he going to save this, I wonder? But already West Ham have got another injury, which is the worst thing that can happen when you've just brought your substitute on. And the referee is going to have to stop the play again. Jeff Pike clashing there with Jan Lohman, almost the moment that Stuart Pearson came on. Armstrong, and again, once more it was Martin. Callahan, flying header by Ray Stewart. Well, can Watford continue to make the running for what remains of the match? Because they've made it all so far. Pritchard to take the corner. Armstrong again, Callahan! He backheeled it in! Oh, what a cheeky goal! Nigel Callahan! The 19-year-old makes it 2-0, having made the first, he scored the second. And if they have a competition for the cheekiest goal of the season, that's got to win it. Pritchard took the corner long, Armstrong got up, supported by Terry, and when it dropped, Nigel Callahan just clipped it backwards into the net. And has that killed off West Ham? So there won't be too much adjustment for Watford. They'll just lose the height of Jenkins. Sort of thing you try when you're confident, which he's got to be after the part he's played in the 2 goals. That was cross. Martin trying to make it. Corner. Steve Terry happy to concede another. And Brookings having to come all the way across to take it. Martin at the back. Lampard, what a good block that was by Armstrong. Back in by Stewart. Is he offside here? Well, Frank Lampard stayed forward and the flag stayed down. And when Ray Stewart knocked the ball in to his opposite fullback Lampard, that was West Ham's cleanest chance, but he volleyed just wide. So the Watford story goes on, adding another chapter today, with Jerry Armstrong and Nigel Callahan getting the goals that beats West Ham in the same way that Lohman's goal beat Manchester United 3 weeks ago. A further First Division scalp for a Second Division club who may well be among First Division company permanently if they go on playing like that. Perhaps as Elton John applauds these players, the most remarkable thing about the match was not that Watford won it, but the fact that they were on top for virtually the whole of the 90 minutes. and gave West Ham very little say at all. Devonshire was missing, that's true, but West Ham were never able to dictate the game in any quarter, and Watford are winners on a memorable day here by 2-0. The second leg of the FA Youth Cup final, and Watford, who'd won the first game 3-2 at Old Trafford, increased their lead when United centre-half Billy Garton deflected into his own goal, across by the Watford centre-forward Jimmy Gilligan. But United's Belfast prodigy Norman Whiteside, wearing number 9, fed number 11 Peter Doherty, and it was Mark Hughes who put United back into the tie. Doherty, by the way, is the youngest son of Tommy, the ex-Manchester United manager. But at the other end, Watford scored again through David Johnson, restoring their 2-goal advantage. And early in the second half, United's Mark Dempsey cut through to make the aggregate score 5-4. He's the only Manchester-born player in their side. Then United will level. A cross by substitute Nick Wood, a splendid header by Hughes, and now it's extra time. Both teams scored again, and then came Watford's winner. A header by Gilligan, making the final aggregate score in this thrilling Youth Cup final 7-6 to Watford, and putting the finishing touch to a wonderful match which brought crowd scenes similar to those of 2 nights earlier. A throwback to the old days.
It's wonderful, wasn't it? 8 goals. There were 5 goals at Old Trafford. 2 teams of young 17 and 18-year-old boys and an odd 16-year-old there, playing as if their lives depended upon it, and exciting a crowd. And as you say, if it's a throwback to the old days, then it wouldn't be so bad if some of the old days came back.
Goal. A lovely piece of play here by Clive Woods. What a cross that was. Good jump by Mendham, and Birchin couldn't quite reach it. Birchin going in there and jumping at a player, maybe. A free kick given nonetheless. Barnes. Blissett shoved in the back by Holby there, I think. And the free kick already taken, leaving a bit of space here for Les Taylor. And now for Callaghan on the far side, with Bolton going up outside it. Here's Ian Bolton, and a chance for Watford now. And a beautiful goal! Scored by Ian Bolton. And all coming from a free kick that was quickly taken and never really gave Norwich City a chance to get back into the game. Callaghan playing his part. What a run it was here by Ian Bolton, and a shot beating Woods at the near post. So Watford 1, Norwich 0 after 36 minutes. Watford have got the break they wanted. Barnes. This is on the far side. Sting will be a little annoyed that he didn't make that one count. It was a lovely cross in there. Flying there was Luther Blissett, but again just wide of that Norwich post. Certainly had more of the game, not Watford in the first half. They've been more aggressive, more skillful. They've carved the openings. Their finishing has left a certain amount to be desired at the moment. Only 1 up when it might have been 2 or 3. Now it's Jenkins. Now it's Taylor. Now Blissett onside. Played in there. Knocked away again by Watford, with Norwich yet again in defence all over the place. So Watford at the moment in a really rampant mood. And running in by Barnes. the 17-year-old gets his 4th goal of the season with that little nod in from the far post, flicked on there by Ross Jenkins, and a formality for the 17-year-old. So it's a great finish to the first half for Watford, having had...
remaining now. Jenkins. Richard playing it here for Blissett. This is for Ross Jenkins to come in on, and again some very good defending for Norwich by Phil Hoadley. Barnes floating money again, and Jenkins didn't quite get to that one though. But Bolton can pick up the pieces for Watford. Barnes. Well, he showed that to Donaghy. Oh my goodness! And he might almost have made a goal there for Callaghan if not for himself. Callaghan crossing it in, Taylor in there, Woods not knowing where it is, but finally it goes behind, and it's a goal kick. What a cheeky bit of play though in the first place by John Barnes, actually showing the ball to Donaghy, letting him flay at it, and then taking it away. The shot, which Woods couldn't hold, Callaghan almost got onto. And in the end, Taylor couldn't quite finish it off. Barnes, he's threaded his way through them all again. And he's found Taylor. Well, I think we've seen enough skill from young John Barnes today. Not to praise him too highly because feet have got to be kept on the ground, but his potential is really something quite extraordinary. It's 17. Ball for Barnes. Now the ball for Blissett. Is this number 3? Not yet, it isn't. It's with Barnes. And now Taylor. And a free kick. Now, will Watford produce their famous free kick, or they line up 2 walls? Because this is the ideal situation for it. And certainly on the big match earlier this season, we've seen how it succeeded for them in a game at Luton, where they line up 1 wall immediately behind the ball. And that looks to be what the plan is now. 4 in that wall. Ian Bolton is the man who normally strikes them. Barnes is there also. It doesn't give the Norwich wall or the goalkeeper much of a chance. Barnes floating in against the post. And Blissett getting the ball in for the 3rd goal. And so the famous free kick strikes again, although not quite the way maybe that Norwich intended. Barnes floating it superbly against the crossbar, Blissett with the header, and Woods couldn't quite stop it. So Luther Blissett takes up the top scorer so far for Watford this season. He goes to 5. And Watford now go comfortably to 3. Well, it's certainly good news for the chairman, Elton John, and well worth the cost of an air ticket from Paris and back in the day. And Watford are bringing on their substitute. Say with 90 seconds to go, it's a little odd. And Ross Jenkins goes off.
Chris Wood saving Norwich yet again. Fashanu getting back to get it away. The whistle has gone. A good, adventurous attacking performance that brings the right rewards for Watford with their 3 goals. But also, it's worth pointing out, it's their 5th clean sheet of the season, so in defence they can't be doing so badly either. Blissett with the only goal of the second half. But I think the fellow that we're going to hear a fair bit of in the future has got to be that number 11, 17-year-old John Barnes, who in fact made that goal for Blissett and scored one with a header himself after Ian Bolton had whacked one in from a sharp angle. I'm sure Graham Taylor will keep this young man's feet on the ground, and having said that, his potential is enormous. Not always at the top, but today they were always on top, and of course they keep challenging there in their bid to get into the first division. A final score then here at Vicarage Road, Watford 3, Norwich 0.
Well, the top of the second division unchanged, because while Watford were winning so impressively there, Luton were doing likewise away to Wrexham, with Sheffield Wednesday going third after beating Oldham. Well, there's no disputing who were the 2 happiest men at Vicarage Road in Watford yesterday. Chairman Elton John and manager Graham Taylor. Elton, you've flown in, I think, from Paris for this. They're almost sort of day trips, aren't you? They're living in Paris and coming across for the game.
Well, I'm sort of commuting because I'm in the middle of maybe 1 or 2 albums, and I try and get back for as many games as possible in between recording schedules, and it's always nice to come back to the club anyway, but when we play like that, it's even doubly nice. But it's important for me to be back at the club as much as possible.
Yes. I mean, a lot of people say it must be a hell of a drag with scheduled airlines and airports and one thing or another. Is that the way you do it, or...?
Sometimes. I got a private jet today because there were 6 or 7 of us, and members of the band wanted to come over and see the game. But I don't mind paying out for a private jet if we play like that, you know. Otherwise, it comes out the manager's wages.
And in his present mood, I think, seeing his side play today, you wouldn't mind paying that, I think, Graham. It was some performance.
Yes, it was excellent. I mean, I came to the game on a bike, but we worked well together.
It's the club bike.
But actually, no, very, very consistent performance. I mean, it's been coming, but the pleasing thing today was that it went right through the 90 minutes, apart from the little period of time we were a little bit disturbed with injuries, but very, very happy and very, very pleasing.
Yes. I think in an area, Elton, in the game where people are talking ludicrously about £1 million transfers and so on, you as chairman must be delighted in the way the youngsters are coming through so well for your club.
It is a ludicrous system, the transfer system at the moment. I don't believe anybody's worth £1 million, not even, you know, entertainers.
Really?
No, sincerely, yes. And it's great to see young players that have been nurtured from the word go come through. You get a little tingling up your spine when you see them play so well.
And certainly the young players today did superbly well. I mean, you think of Kenny Jackett, and you think of Steve Terry, and people will think of Nigel Callaghan. But I think most people who watched it today will think of the other lad, the 17-year-old John Barnes. Yeah. Tell me in the first place, Graham, how did he come to join the club?
Well, you know, you get your stroke of good fortune, and a supporter, in fact, phoned up the club and said that a friend of his had seen a young boy that he thought was well worth watching. We went and watched him, we saw him, we gave him half a game, we hid him and signed him as quickly as we could. You don't need to be an expert, you see. People turn around and say, well, look at that, how did they get him? You don't need to be an expert. You see it, you get it, you don't mess about it.
Yes, tell me about this now.
Well, he has an awareness, he has a touch on the ball, he knows what he's doing, got a little bit of a break but reacts quickly, and then sees people there, just gets that little bit extra. And he'll be talking to Les Taylor about that.
There was a moment too where Willie Donachie, who's a very experienced Scottish international player, comes out to shadow him here, and he shows him the ball and then just takes it away from him.
Yes, well, we always ask him to at least give us one of those during a game. He gets into trouble if he doesn't actually give us a sole of the foot movement, and I'm quite serious about that. Yes, we always ask him where his sole of the foot movement was in this particular game. Now, that's the balance that we're trying to achieve, because there's other things as well.
The way things have gone at this club is, you know, we haven't had too much publicity of late, which has been very good. Maybe we'll start getting a bit now. But I think we've been very sensible. I wouldn't swap my management team at this club for any other in the country.
I mean, I suppose the time might come when it might be difficult to hold on to them.
Yeah, there might be a position that crops up, but I'm fairly confident, unless it's for the England job, that we might keep it. Unless it's for Real Madrid or something like that, you know, something like that. But no, I wouldn't swap this club, because in depth, what they've done for the youth side, our reserve team, we're on top of the combination. It's tremendous. We've held out, kept our feet on the ground, and now we're seeing some results at the moment. There's a long way to go yet.
Taking over, knocking it in, and the big figure of Steve Sherwood. Kelly's header forward. Knocked down nicely to Lineker. He's in with a chance here, and he's missed it. Well, give the goalkeeper a fair bit of credit for that. Sherwood out to his feet. Forced him finally to snatch at a ball that was bouncing rather awkwardly, and he knocks it wide. Lohman did well. And Lohman goes for that return ball from Pritchett. Williams hustling him, gives the corner away. So the first corner of this game. As Taylor goes over to take the corner. Steve Terry is on the goal line for Watford. Blissett is in there. Lohman on the back post. Ross Jenkins on the near post. So a bit of pushing going on. And a free kick. Play by young Lohman. So a free kick for Tommy Williams of Leicester. Peake helps it on and into the boot of Terry. Cut out by May. Kelly Jacket in fast. Wilson now and O'Neill forward. And there goes Lineker again. He's in for another try. And he's put that one away. Goal number 1 for Leicester. Gary Lineker's second chance of the game. He messed up the first one, but he puts that one in neatly enough. 1-0 Leicester. Lineker's 6th goal of the season. About 7 minutes into the game. And Lineker had the legs of Terry. The big chap couldn't hold his feet. And this time, Lineker nicks it away neatly. Leet. Lineker, Leet. Hebard. Good try by Trevor Hebard. See how close that was. I have a feeling it was just beating the post. No, it might have been on its way in. That's Terry banging forward. Touch off to Jenkins. Oh, that ran away from Lohman. Jenkins touched a good ball after Blissett. Lohman and Tommy Williams did very well. That was a dodgy moment, a neat ball from Ross Jenkins after Blissett. Watford coming here in 3rd place, hoping to make 2nd after today's matches. As Blissett goes in. Unlucky, but it's still there for Taylor. Missed it. And all through Eddie Kelly, but the pressure's still on as Blissett comes again. And Kelly there once again. Enormous roar from these Leicester fans. And a great deal of it aimed at the chunky figure of Eddie Kelly. Blissett knocking it in and Kelly out again. Nice ball on from Hebard. And here goes Lineker. The ball didn't run for him. forward for Blissett. Taylor will lose to O'Neill. Well won, Bolton. Linex forward, though. And Lineker could be breaking again. Pat Rice did the cover. But in fact, there was a foul on Lineker as he tried to set off for that ball. I think referee Clive Thomas quite rightly, for a moment gave advantage, saw there wasn't any, and then whistled it back. Andy Peake can strike a ball from here, and so indeed can Kelly. Peake hits it. By golly, he had that absolutely right in everything except the final nicety of direction. Kept it down, it was going fast, and it just skids away past the post. Kelvin helping it on. Bolton, the cut out. And Rice, and Bolton again. Well charged down by Heather. Drop back to Pritchett. Pat Rice breaking the offside trap. It's not a bad ball in. Rick Jenkins, and he guides that in for a superb little equaliser. And immediately he heads off in the direction of Pat Rice, because it was Pat Rice who set that one up. Pat, who hasn't scored this season, but this was a lovely ball in from Pat Rice. Here he is now, and Jenkins actually just steers that past Wallington. Neat and tidy. So 1-1. And about 3 minutes to go to half-time as Linex knocks that one across and Lineker goes in and hits the bar. Heaven! Leicester 1, Watford 1.
Atkinson. Stopped by Barnes. Certainly a game worthy of the status of the top of the table clash in the second division. Driven forward by Clements. On from Keegan. Now Palmer. Thought about hitting it first time and placed it in! Minutes into the second half, when Watford might have felt they were gaining the ascendancy. Roger Palmer hasn't scored in the league since September, but it was one worth waiting for. Blissett taking on Edwards. Well, he goes down. It's a question of how much it was the fault of Edwards that he did, how much the conditions. John Barnes over the ball, in from Callaghan. Not very far. Callaghan again. Jenkins! And plucked out of the air by McDonald. May not have quite been the way that Watford wanted to work the free kick, but it got almost an end product from Jenkins. Armstrong with his strength and aggression, looking for Jenkins, and it rolls in for the equaliser from Ross Jenkins. Watford were behind for only 5 minutes. The substitution paying off in the sense of the aggression of Armstrong and the touch enough from Jenkins to roll it past McDonald and in off the post. Callaghan.
Blissett. Past Edwards. Taylor! And McDonald, fine save. Didn't know too much about it. Good reflexes. Struck well from Les Taylor. Past Edwards. Cutting it back. Taylor first time. Good save.
Good long throw there for Watford. Colin Lee had gone back there. Troy didn't know where it was, and it was Ross Jenkins who found it quicker than anybody. And the shot charged down again by Lee, and Walker now on the break for Chelsea. Got Mays up in support. And Walker still challenging, and now laying this ball for Alan Mays. Now Mays getting into a shooting position maybe. Walker with the shot just wide. In fact, the linesman was flagging. But it was certainly a good break, and Walker yet again at the heart of it for Chelsea. Getting round Hutchins, tried to pull it back, but Nutton turned it away for the corner. But Blissett showed his determination there, having gone round Hutchins. He pulled back, looked as though it might be a decent ball until Nutton got in. Rostron with the corner. All the big men are getting in there, and another corner. Terry up from the back. Again, Jenkins at the near post. Blissett also at the near post. Barnes at the far post. Taylor with this corner. Irving in there. And a good fist away. Good bit of keeping there by the youngster. He got a bit of distance on it. Rostron couldn't get it back quickly enough. Pressure there, Steve Francis, but he didn't pull at it. He really gave it a belt and got a bit of distance on that punch. But another throw for Watford. Good long throw as well it is. And some claims for handball there, but the ball coming up and hitting one of the Chelsea defenders. I must say it looked as though it did hit him on the arm, but it could well have been construed as purely accidental. Let's see. Well, yes, it might just have been there by Chris Hutchins. Rostron with the throw for Watford. Territorial have had the better of the opening spell here, but really have not yet looked at all dangerous. But here's Armstrong towards Blissett at the far side. This could be different. Jenkins arriving maybe just a little too early, and the header wasn't quite accurate enough, but it's given Chelsea opportunity to defend again as Watford come forward once more. Once again, it's their big defender Steve Terry with a long throw. Again, seeking out the head of Ross Jenkins. Both he and Lee missed it in point of fact. Rostron hoping to turn it back in again, does so. Here's Jenkins on the turn, and Armstrong with the whistle gone. It won't be allowed. Jerry Armstrong says, I headed the ball, but the referee saw an infringement in there, and the goal disallowed. Hung in there a little bit lower this time. And after that ricochet, I must say it looked a good clean jump and a good clear goal to me. Slightly different trajectory then. Blissett, and knocked away by the keeper. That time it was Armstrong, in fact, at the near post and not Jenkins. Slight variation there by Watford, and it was Blissett's header that had to be put away by the keeper. So Rostron with the corner. And almost Barnes putting it in, and then Blissett almost putting it in after Armstrong had headed it back across the 6-yard area. But a goal kick, and Chelsea breathe again. And Watford putting them under extreme pressure now. Blissett didn't quite get the touch there, and Armstrong nodding it back in once more, and Blissett putting it over. Bostrom will take it. And in that 6-yard area, Francis, you can see how difficult it's going to be for him with all those bodies between him and the ball. Bostrom with the corner, played out a bit wider this time. Blissett being forced back. Bolton. It's a fair ball there by Ian Bolton. Lohman turning it in first time. Francis, or rather Armstrong, and Francis so lucky the ball came off the post. Well, it's not been Jerry Armstrong's day. He had one disallowed in the first half. Hit in first time there by Jan Lohman. Hit first time by Jerry Armstrong. Francis didn't really get a touch. Off the post, and gratefully, look at that, back into his arms. Sides have met here at Vicarage Road. Both times Chelsea won by 3 goals to 2. Games full of goals and excitement. Here's Ian Bolton with Watford's free kick. Towards Armstrong. Touched on there for Les Taylor. Stidwell followed him right across there. Put it away for Watford's throw. Once again, Terry's going to take it. Decides on the short. Chance for Rice to turn it in. And there was a shove in the back of Ross Jenkins. And the referee has pointed to the penalty spot, has he? Not making it absolutely clear. Chelsea don't seem to know. Yes, the ball is on the spot. And Luther Blissett is the man who is down to take it. It certainly, from my angle, looked as though there was a push on Jenkins. And clearly the referees thought so as well. Blissett, who scored 10 goals this season, 2 of them from the penalty spot, now faces Steve Francis, whose form has been excellent in this game. What an important kick this is for Blissett. 1-0 for Watford. Well, he can smile now. And he really hit it. The incident now. Ross Jenkins was the man who was pushed as Rice turned it in. Oh, it didn't look that bad. From that angle there. And Chelsea are going to make the substitution. They're going to take Rhodes-Brown off. John Neal giving a nice bit of instruction there. Dark overcoat. And Mike Fillery will be on in a moment. He had a slight shin injury that kept him out of the game against Wrexham in the Cup. Not quite fit for this one, so it's obviously a time that Chelsea have got to take a risk on that injury now. Barnes, goal kick. Down on the bench for the second half. Linesman fading again, this time for a push by Nutten on Armstrong. And Chelsea just don't seem to be able to break out of this half of the field at the moment. Down 1-0 with about 12 minutes left. Rostron running over it. Barnes hitting it towards the far post. What a good free kick that was, and Armstrong met it at the far end, but it's a goal kick. Oh, he's given a corner. It must have clipped off a Chelsea defender. So Rostron's turn. It's an interesting one. Barnes was in there and knocked away off the line by Colin Quates. Tucked in again by Taylor. They're all converging on the keeper, and in the end it goes away for the goal kick and Chelsea escape. Well, Quates did well to hook that one off the line. Barnes was right in there with a header, just beating the keeper on that occasion. The number 6 got it away. And finally the goal. trajectory again. Now can Barnes nick this one around? He can indeed. Touched down by Lohman, and Jenkins was in there as well. And in the end, it's a goal kick. A long throw, almost worked there from Steve Terry. Barnes, some nifty little play, not so much there, but here with a lovely little cross. Lohman's header, and Chelsea get it away. Something like 2.5 minutes of injury time has been played, and now it is finally all over. An important victory for Watford, and a setback for Chelsea. Luther Blissett's disputed penalty with some 20 minutes or so remaining is what decides the game. A certain sympathy, I'm sure, for the 17-year-old Chelsea goalkeeper Steve Francis, who performed superbly, but really I think no goalkeeper on earth would have kept Blissett's penalty out.
He will be 48 years old tomorrow, and that means he has to retire from the Football League list at the end of the season. Blackburn Rovers in the famous blue and white hard shirts, playing from right to left in the first half. A header there by Steve Terry, and here's Nigel Callaghan. That was for Zachary, who came in over the top on Luther Blissett. And Terry already making his way forward from centre half for this free kick by Pat Rice. In the middle, Kevin Stonehouse. And here he is. Was he fouled by Pat Rice? The referee says that he was. And Blackburn Rovers, thanks to the linesman confirming the referee's thought there with the flag, he looked to the line and got confirmation. It was Rice on Stonehouse. And look at the linesman there. He's saying a very definite use of the arm. And a penalty is given to Blackburn. Now, earlier this season down at Watford, Kevin Stonehouse scored from a penalty right at the end of the match. So I wonder whether Steve Sherwood has remembered how he takes them. 10 minutes gone, penalty to Blackburn. And he sent the goalkeeper the wrong way. So for Stonehouse, the second highest scorer in the Blackburn team, that's number 11 for the season, which means he surpasses last year's total. And he sent the goalkeeper completely the wrong way to put Rovers in front. "20 minutes gone, Blackburn lead 1-0. Armstrong. That's swerving! Oof. Well, if he can produce that in the World Cup, he'll prove he's entitled to be in that sort of company. That was some effort by Jerry Armstrong. There was swerve and dip on the ball, and I would imagine that Butcher was relieved to see it go over. This typical Watford ball, hooked forward as soon as possible and quite often as far as possible. Armstrong leaving it for John Barnes to go through. Corner. Shot was deflected. Well, Watford do loft the ball forward early, and it paid off again there. It was in the penalty area in a flash, and so too was John Barnes. Flags up on the far side. The ball was out before Nigel Callaghan could hook it back in. Miller getting inside Rostrom, who half-blocked the cross, and Lohman was on hand to help. Keeley. Offside. Miller. Inside to Hamilton. Maybe Stonehouse the target there. Rice got it away. Here's Garner. And there's Stonehouse! And he's sharp on that near post. Stonehouse making that diagonal run to the near post, getting a flick on there, and a sharp reaction save from Steve Sherwood. It was a foul by Keeley on Blissett. Armstrong and Terry waiting to come in far side. Barnes takes. Blissett's in there! What a good save. Curled in by Barnes. They were watching Armstrong, but Blissett got it in front of him, and the goalkeeper tipped it over. And it's going to come to Ian Bolton to head it back in, and Armstrong jumping, and here's Lohman, and here's Miller, who loves to break away on that right-hand side. He's got runners in the centre here. Good running, in fact, by Hamilton in the centre-forward position, and two others are coming up as well on this near side, all of which was a pity for Blackburn, because the ball was on. In fact, the foul on Hamilton by Lohman means that they retain possession with a free kick. So Glenn Keeley will come up on our near side. Spate to take. And Keeley almost... Oh, Garner had a chance! And finally Stonehouse came in at the far post. And Watford could well have gone 2 goals down there. There were 2 good chances for Blackburn. This is Garner. What a good turn by Simon Garner. The shot's on. Good save. Miller came hurtling in, and the goalkeeper, who might have made it his when it first came back off him, didn't do so. And applause rings round the ground, first of all for the turn by Simon Garner. He left Bolton there, saw the shot was on, Sherwood down to his left, and then in not gathering it quickly enough, saw Miller come hurtling in. Blissett, Lohman, Armstrong, and Barnes. And Callaghan is coming in, and he scored. The 2 wingers combining to produce the Watford equaliser. The ball played in by John Barnes after a good move, and Nigel Callaghan came in from the far post, got his head to the ball first, and that's 1-1. The Watford bench, no doubt glad to see their side come back so quickly in the second half, just 7 minutes of the half gone. But here's Miller, and they weren't concentrating then, Watford. And he's pulled it back for Garner, and aren't teams vulnerable when they've just scored. Miller goes again. Bit of a tangle there at the near post as Lowy tries to get the ball back to Miller and succeeds. And here comes Hamilton, and it was away by Sims. He spotted some shoving before the offside was even flagged, and Watford have a penalty out of nothing. So, a shot for Blackburn there with 12 minutes to go. Luther Blissett to take the kick, the second penalty of the match, and Blissett scores his 16th goal of the season, and Watford take the lead for the first time in the match, having come from behind to take the lead, and they'll be well pleased down there now. Bobby Saxton, the Blackburn manager, furthest away from the camera there on the bench. His side's promotion hopes surely disappearing now. Beaten at home here last Monday, losing at home again today. Bone in, and Sherwood comes with the punch. Hooked back in, and a chance perhaps here for Miller! Lowy! Well, it hasn't quite been Blackburn's day, and it's reflected there. The ball coming out conveniently for Ian Miller to strike, but it crashed against the bar. Lowy was well wide from the rebound, and I wonder whether Blackburn's chances of going into the First Division have disappeared in this second half today. Certainly no luck for them there. And there's Barnes, he's onside. What a chance here for John Barnes to make it 3. And he jabbed the ball across the face of the goal, but it wouldn't have mattered really, because Watford have won. Barnes would have liked to have sealed it there with virtually the last kick of the match. But Watford have taken 3 points, earned by a strong second half performance here, and that may prove in retrospect to be a most significant result. Nigel Callaghan with the equaliser, Blissett with the winner from the penalty, the fans being acknowledged by the players, because Watford would appear to be well on the way to the First Division now, and by winning here today they may have condemned Blackburn to another season in the second. Blackburn Rovers 1, Watford 2.
Blissett created most of the damage for Watford. It was his run down the left wing that produced the first goal. Nigel Callaghan scored after Les Taylor failed to reach the ball, so 1-0 after 18 minutes. But Les Taylor played a major role in Watford's next goal. His long ball created the danger out on the left of the Sheffield defence. Taylor joined the attack, and his pass led to the goal by John Barnes. So 2-0 for Watford, who proceeded to take apart the Sheffield defence. The third goal came from a corner. As it sailed across the goal, Jenkins managed to nod it on for Blissett. 3-0 to Watford after 26 minutes. Blissett continued to torment the Sheffield defence. His strength in the air helped to win the ball, and his control on the ground brought a magnificent save from Bob Boulder. And Blissett hadn't finished yet, but this time he was helped by some disastrous mistakes by the defenders. He kept his head as he ran towards the goal. A second goal for Blissett to make it 4-0 for Watford, and that was the result.
Time in their history. They have to beat Charlton, and Sheffield Wednesday lose or draw at home to Chelsea. But it's almost like a home game for them. They've brought so many fans to see them face this Charlton side. And in fact, the Charlton manager, Alan Murray's had a change forced on him in this, their last home game of the season. Striker Leroy Ambrose is injured. Paul Walsh and Billy Lansdowne play up front. Leighton Phillips is now in the midfield, and Les Berry is at the back. Derek Hales is still out injured. Watford, meanwhile, have had a doubt about their 18-year-old winger John Barnes, and sad for them this morning, he failed a test. Jerry Armstrong is at number 8, and the defender, Keith Pritchett, is the substitute. The referee is Alf Gray of Dalston in Norfolk. So Watford start their last push towards the First Division. They're in the light shirts of yellow, black shorts, Charlton in red shirts and white shorts, and Watford, having lost only 2 of their last 18, shows that just how much they've withstood the pressure of a promotion campaign. In fact, their form over the last 3 has been exceptional. They've won them all when it really mattered, and they've scored 9 goals in doing so. Charlton, who were on the fringes for quite a while, but have had a disastrous last month or so. Emmett getting that away for them. Charlton have lost 6 of their last 8 games. Paul Elliott getting his head to that one, and it'll be a throw to Watford. A very blustery wind here, which won't make it easy. But the pitch, I must say, looks in pretty good condition. Les Berry just getting his head to that one. Here's Dave Memmott, who used to play up the road at Millwall and then went to America. And there's Jan Lohman, number 10 for Watford.
Graham Taylor in the tracksuit there.
5 years he's been the Watford manager. He joined them when they were in the 4th division,
And now they're on the verge of the first. Sitting next to him, somebody who knows all about First Division football, Former Arsenal manager, now Watford director, Bertie Mee. So 10 minutes gone, no score. And Callaghan with almost his first touch in this opening 10 minutes. They're getting another throw for Watford. And they're waiting for Steve Sims to come forward and hurl a long ball into the Charlton box. Finds Ross Jenkins. Oh. Well, Jenkins pounced on that. The long throw obviously upset the Charlton defence. The marking wasn't all that secure on Jenkins. And having turned there well, just missing the far post. And ball. Charlton the kick. Terry Naylor will take it. Towards Lansdowne. Robinson looking to get it onto the left foot. Ferns coming up fast. Oh, and a chance here for Lansdowne. And in the end, they put it away, and Mehmet is the man who finished it off to score his first goal for Charlton and give Watford a job to do. Well, they made a mistake there. Steve Sims, it looked as though Lansdowne might get it. Sherwood half saved it, Mehmet finished it off, and Charlton go into the lead. Charlton 1, Watford 0. Dave Mehmet the score. Walsh with Brick having won a useful ball in the air in midfield. Now Walsh taking on Bolton. Naylor outside him, which was a decoy really. A bit of space here for Grit to hopefully get a... Oh my goodness, a good shot on the turn. Right snaking across that to Watford's 6-yard area. And for the want of a touch, well, if that touch had come, Charlton would have been 2 ahead. Good play there by Steve Grit, and an escape for Watford. Blissett coming up fast from the back. And Naylor's header finding touch. Watford's throw. They're not going to wait for Sims to come forward. Rostron will take this one. Teams played a 2-2 draw earlier in the season in December at Vicarage Road after Charlton had been 2 down. Well, they're 1 ahead now. It could so easily have been 1-1 if Jenkins could just have turned that one back a little sharper. John, the last kick, in fact he won't have time to take it as Graham Taylor goes down from the director's box to do a little bit of talking in that Watford dressing room. It hasn't been their best performance of the season. They conceded a goal 36 minutes into the game through Dave Mehmet. They've been well held by the Charlton defence and made once or twice to look a little uncomfortable in their own defence by the work of Lansdowne and Walsh. So half-time here then at the Valley. It's Charlton 1, Watford 0. So Charlton start the second half, leading by a goal to 0. Callaghan trying to get better of Ferns. There wasn't much room there, but he was found by the Charlton number 7, so Watford get a free kick in the opening minute of this second half. Watford defensively so good over these last few weeks. Last 17 games have conceded only 13 goals. They've conceded an important one here today and need really to pressurise Charlton's defence to try and pull it back. Well, there's Bolton losing out to Walsh. He's got Mehmet inside him. Still Walsh going on. Plays a little ball through for Mehmet again. And Rostron doing a good covering job. The flag was up, in any case, on the far side.
presumably for an offside. And Walsh, one of those long, wriggling runs of his. A little bit of gathering of pace there. And the flag was up for a foul. Blissett turning it on. Armstrong fouling Elliott there. Another free kick for Charlton. Terry Naylor with it. Long again towards Walsh, who got in behind them, and Sherwood just picking it off his foot as the little number 8 came in quickly, the ball having bounded over the heads of the Watford defenders, but the whistle had gone. But Walsh again showing an ability to get in behind. Graham Taylor wanting to get down a little bit where the action is, second from the right there. Now Blissett. Lining it up, and Nicky John's down well. The first real blast really we've seen from Luther Blissett today, who's been in such exceptional form. 5 goals in the last 3 games. Rice, a missed kick, but support is on hand from Armstrong. Only that, a long ball forward, which Berry just nods at the touch. It's a Watford throw. Watford looking more positive, getting a lot of people forward in this second half. Taylor. It's not been this Taylor's afternoon, and yet he's the sort of player in this situation you'd always want. A real little terrier in the midfield that keeps tackling and fighting and passing, and nothing at the moment quite going for him. That's better. Now he's got a 1-2 going with Blissett. Played wide for Callaghan, cutting back, getting his cross in there. Lohman almost making it that time, and the ball coming out to Rice. Still Watford keeping this pressure as it comes towards Jenkins, and in the end saved by Johns. A little spell by Watford though. Charlton's throw. And a corner. And Dave Memmott will take it. Berry's come up from the back, so has Elliott. Berry at the near post, you can see, and Elliott at the far post. Memmott straight through for Sherwood. Bolton with the free kick, hit firmly towards Armstrong. Berry, delayed it there, and Blissett was on. Jenkins is on a goal! Triumph for Ross Jenkins, an error in the Charlton defence, and they paid for it. Berry just delaying his clearance just for a moment. Jenkins was onto it, past Nicky Johns to make it 1-1. Well, and Bolton making a slight error himself, but Taylor getting out of it. So it had begun to look a little gloomy, and suddenly it looks a little sunny. But it's a victory that Watford need today. If the job is going to be completed today, and if the result at Hillsborough goes the way they want it. after it. Blissett. And it might go all the way. In the end, it was Naylor who had to hook it away from Armstrong. Swerving cross in there. That was a swerving cross there that went a long, long way before Naylor got it clear. And they're all coming up from the back, including Ian Bolton, but this is in close to the keeper, and Nicky Johns will grab it. Quarter of an hour remaining. Jenkins got a bang up his head. But Watford got a free kick. Bolton will take it. And a good catch from Simms' header. Defender went charging in there. It was a long, long run, and it was met to perfection by Bolton's free kick. Lansdowne nodding it on, but it's been pretty well all Watford's half. As Callaghan finds Jenkins, that time it's Naylor, and here's Paul Elliott, played on for Les Berry. And here's Burns, and it'll get back to Nicky Johns. Against the post and nodded over by Merritt. Well, the first real break that Charlton have had in this half, and Leighton Phillips, who's only scored one goal this season, he's played in every game, came that close to making it two. Burns, Elliott, Watford throw. Rice will take it. It's found Jenkins. Armstrong and deep there, and the header by Lohman. Sims getting his head to that one. Here's Les Taylor. Blissett. A little gap there. Taylor's found it. Can Blissett get on the end of it? He can't. Or can he? There's a scramble there, and in the end Nicky Johns goes down as Jenkins tried to finish it off, and Watford within an ace then of getting that precious second goal. The ball played in there by Taylor. Blissett was onto it. Nicky Johns came out bravely, grabbed it again at the second attempt just as Jenkins was closing in. Britt finding Phillips. There, the ball played there by Robinson for Burns, backing up from the back. Robinson again, playing again for Phillips. And the ball might go anywhere in the end. In fact, it was Bolton who got it away, and a nice touch by Blissett for Jerry Armstrong. Here come Watford again with 4 up. Whipping in a good cross there. Callaghan, can he finish it off? Good save by Nicky Johns. Beautifully struck ball, first by Armstrong, and a lovely shot there by Callaghan, tipped away well by Johns. Corner then for Watford. Rostron is the man who will hit the ball into the Charlton area. The referee again looking hard at his watch. A 1-1 scoreline and a 1 point is not enough to make it sure for Watford today. Again he's looking at his watch. Rostron with the kick. The final whistle goes, and Watford have come back and got a point, but have got to wait for another day to be sure, and indeed it looks as though they will get that place in the First Division, but not today. It wasn't one of their better performances. They weren't helped, and neither were Charlton, with a very difficult win. It was Mehmet who put Charlton into the lead in the first half, and Ross Jenkins who got the equaliser for Watford in the second. So applause from the Watford fans, and some consolation for Charlton fans on their last home game of the season. And a final scoreline then here at the Valley. It's Charlton 1, Watford 1.
On Tuesday night, 2 goals by Ross Jenkins against Wrexham clinched Watford's remarkable rise from the 4th Division to the 1st in 5 seasons. It really was celebration time at Vicarage Road. But as the hundreds of Watford fans who invaded the pitch on the final whistle made their way home afterwards, the first question had to be, how well equipped are the club for a level of football they have never faced before in their 91-year history?
If you're looking to go into any division, but certainly if you're looking to go into the First Division, any club with any serious ambition of doing anything must have 18 First Division players.
Watford have worked hard at encouraging a community atmosphere here. There's a special enclosure for families with presents on birthdays and encouragement like that for the young supporter. And they've all enjoyed Watford's success, which has been highlighted this week by promotion and winning the FA Youth Cup. On Tuesday night, Ross Jenkins, the club's longest-serving player, scored the 2 goals which clinched promotion to the First Division. And 48 hours later, 18-year-old John Barnes played in the Watford team, which beat Manchester United on aggregate in the final of the FA Youth Cup. So Graham Taylor keeps the players who've been in such good form recently, and 2 of them, Ian Bolton at number 6 and Luther Blissett at number 8, played in Watford's last 4th Division match against Southport in April 1978. So along with Jenkins, they've seen it all here. But if the celebrations are about Watford, then the significance of today's match concerns Leicester City. Whatever anybody else does, 4 wins in their last 4 games, of which this on paper is by far the hardest, would put Leicester up. Alan Young returns in attack after injury, but Eddie Kelly is hurt now, so Steve Lynex is pressed into service at right back, which has been a problem position for Leicester since Tommy Williams broke his leg in the semi-final against Spurs. Jock Wallace, the Leicester manager, who tipped his club for promotion way back when they were more in mid-table, but if he can clinch that after 1 year down in the second, it'll be some achievement. Chairman Elton John back from Oslo, but flying straight off to Rotterdam to appear on stage there tonight immediately after the game. And next to him on his right, Graham Taylor, who's now had 4 promotions in his career as a manager, 3 here and 1 at Lincoln. And Bertie Mee on the left of Chairman Elton John, to the right as we look. His contribution here shouldn't be underestimated either. Brian Daniels of Brentwood in Essex is the referee on a sunny afternoon at Vicarage Road. Pitch is nice and soft on top after being watered. And Leicester in the first half in the white shorts playing from the right, and that's John Barnes immediately getting the ball away from Lynex. There are 3 in the middle, Blissett slipped, and a corner straight away to Watford. Barnes, who played on Thursday night, it was extra time then, so he could be quite tired at the end of this week, but he was certainly quick there to rob Steve Lynex, playing in an unfamiliar right-back position, number 2 there. Wallington coming through the crowd, defenders up in front of him. Lohman. It's Callahan on the far side, who was fouled. Andy Peake. Oh, and Lynex's header, which almost came to Sims. Bolton now. Alan Young back for Leicester. Les Taylor covering. Jenkins being marked by Larry May. And that was a foul by Lohman on Peake. For the moment it's Lineker on the right, Melrose on the left and Young through the centre. But that free kick finds only Les Taylor. Jenkins, Barnes, looking for Blissett. May the defender. Support coming from Lohman. Nigel Callaghan scored a good goal with a header at Blackburn in front of our cameras not so long ago, and he got in there in the centre to make contact with Lohman's cross, but the ball glancing across the goal rather. Young against Sims. It's a good flick on by Young to Lineker. Here's Young again. Lohman who went down. Free kick given. Jenkins again up with May. This is Fryer. Won't stray too far away from Callaghan, I should think. Jenkins coming onto the near post. Blissett just behind him. Blissett gets up, there's a flick on there. Barnes tries to make it, and Jenkins, I think it was already over the line by Barnes. John Barnes got it in. So the 18-year-old who played a part in the Youth Cup success, coming in behind Jenkins and Blissett. Wallington went to meet him, Barnes forced it past him over the line, and Jenkins was just following it into the net to make sure. 9 minutes gone. So for John Barnes, goal number 13 this season. What rapid strides he's made since coming into the side. And that tussle right underneath the referee's nose. Alan Young allowing perhaps the emotion of the moment to catch up with him. His side a goal down early on here. Peake with the kick. John O'Neill was in there, and it was Steve Sims who challenged him, and the referee decides his was the last touch, Steve Sims. Larry May got in there off the line by Les Taylor, hit by Lineker. 2 ricochets. Well, the injured player back in the Watford penalty area will give Leicester perhaps concern, but they'll be disappointed there that they didn't equalise. Larry May got up well. The ball beat goalkeeper Sherwood, but Les Taylor was in that position of his by the right-hand post to get the ball away. Jock Wallace has just come across from the far side to talk to Steve Lynex and has been sent back by a linesman. His concern is obviously the injury to Gary Lineker. Ian McFarlane with Jock Wallace on the bench there. Meantime, John McVeigh, the physiotherapist, has led Gary Lineker behind the goal for further treatment. And there's one for Jenkins to chase, and he's in. Saved by Wallington. What a vital save it could prove to be for Leicester. The long clearance from the free kick completely caught Leicester out. Time to line the shot up, and well blocked. Sims is coming in round the back here. He's fouling too as he did so. So Lineker led away to the dressing room. Leicester for the moment are down to 10 men. That's Sims. And that's a foul by Ramsey, who is the emergency right back for the moment. As if Leicester haven't had enough trouble in that position since the semi-final. Playing here with 10 men, they're a goal behind. It could easily have been 2 if Jenkins had buried the second chance for Watford. Now they have a free kick taken by Rostron. Jenkins and Sims up together. Here's Taylor. And Wellington saw that late. There were a couple of defenders in front of him as well as Luther Blissett. And he showed good reactions at the last minute there. Ian Bolton still well forward, hooked on by Barnes. Free kick this time to Leicester for the foul by Sims on Alan Young. O'Neill with the kick. Linex challenged by Rostron. Understand that Gary Lineker is having stitches and a gash in his leg. Well, Leicester must be hoping they can stem the tide long enough for Lineker to come back on, because there's no sign of bringing on their substitute for the moment. It was a header by Lohman. Back by Ramsey. Good header on by Blissett there to Callaghan. And he's gone round Larry May. Good deep cross. Oh, and Wellington got a hand to it, and the referee blows. But that was a good cross. Just shows that a natural winger, even in these days of highly formalised systems, can get behind his man and from a tight angle curl a lovely ball in. I would imagine the Watford staff will be pleased with this start. The week seems to be getting better and better for them all the time. Bolton. Now Taylor. Callaghan. 4 ahead of him for Watford. That's Callaghan's shots. Lively player. Always ready to try for goal. Not put off by the distance. Here's Peake again. Can find Linex wide. Taking on Rostron. And MacDonald comes in and puts his header from Linex cross over the bar. That was a good burst by Steve Linex, now in his more familiar position, taking on Rostron, getting his cross in with good length, and MacDonald underneath the header, rather. Flags up on the far side for a foul. And this string of free kicks going Watford's way, making life exceedingly hard for a team who've been playing now for nearly 20 minutes with only 10 men. The match is half an hour old. Watford lead 1-0. And it'll be Ian Bolton with the free kick. Left for Rostron. And there's Jenkins, and here's Callaghan. Oh, really brilliantly played. Blissett was the man that came in for the header. Now it's Rostron. He scored a screamer in that corner when we were here for the Luton match a few weeks ago. And he was trying the same thing again there. This time the shot flying just wide from Wilf Rostron. Bowman. And more problems for Leicester now. Ramsey's gone down hurt. Here's Barnes. And away by Fryer. Taylor. Rice. Jenkins coming towards the near post, and John O'Neill covering. And this is not going to be Leicester's day if the events of the first half are any guide. Lineker's been off the pitch now for 20 minutes, having a gash in his leg stitched, and now Paul Ramsey, who went to right back in the reshuffle, is receiving attention from the Watford trainer Billy Hales because his Leicester counterpart John McVeigh is too busy in the dressing room stitching Lineker. And Sims is powering in here. May have been some shoving on Alan Young, I would have thought, in the penalty area there.
Yeah, come on.
So, Melrose looking for space here against Bolton. Ramsey now hobbling quite badly. And so Leicester's sub Peter Welsh, one way or the other, is going to be used. Callahan. Foul by Fryer, who's finding Callahan something of a handful for the moment. He's got behind him 2 or 3 times. Leicester want to make a substitution, and the referee is allowing that to happen before Watford take the free kick. So on comes Peter Welsh, who's a defender by nature, but has scored 2 very valuable goals in away matches recently. Oh, and Jenkins got a flick, and Wallington just got it at the second attempt, did he? Or was there an appeal by the Watford players? And it would appear that the referee has given a penalty, and if that's for handball, possibly against John O'Neill, it seems very harsh. Jenkins went in with the header, it struck the defender on the arm, but was it intentional? The referee has said yes, it's a penalty. Penalty now to be taken by Luther Blissett. Having a conversation first with Andy Peake. He always turns the other way, Blissett, before he takes them. Oh, great stop by Wallington, but Blissett puts it in. Oh, well, how many more things can go against Leicester? The goalkeeper, Mark Wallington, made a fine save from the penalty. He read it well, but Blissett went in to make it 2, and Jock Wallace needs now all the character that he's claimed his team's had all along. They're 2-0 down. They've had to use their substitute. And I don't think I've seen a first half in which the run of the play has gone more against one side. Lineker is not coming back. Welsh is on. And Leicester are reorganising their formation again even now. Blissett. Callahan with the corner then. Jenkins a threat again there. It was away by O'Neill. Here's Callahan. Blocked there by Peake, but he's still there. Blissett on the near post. Barnes! 3-0. What a marvellous week for Watford. Elton John applauds the goal. Nigel Callahan, one winger, was again very much involved in the build-up. He teased and taunted them, pulled it back. Blissett was in there. Jenkins was holding off an opponent as well, but it was John Barnes who struck for his second goal of the match and Watford's third after 38 minutes. And are we, I wonder, watching Leicester's promotion hopes fade here? Nothing can be decided today in that sense, but they badly wanted something out of this match and hardly could have expected to find themselves 3 down in the first half. But there's no holding Watford. They've still got the championship to play for. It's going to be Watford or Luton. Well, Watford have run with such good intent and direction up front in the first half. They've stretched Leicester first on one side with Callahan here. Then they've switched the play to the left and they've worried them down that side too with John Barnes. And the end of what's proved a wretched first half for Leicester City and Jock Wallace. They lost Gary Lineker early on in trying to equalise Watford's early goal. He was off for a long time when they were down to 10 men. He never came back in the end. The substitute came on. Luther Blissett made it 2 from the rebound following a penalty save. And John Barnes, who scored the first, also got the third. The Watford 4-1 by Norwich last Saturday find themselves 3 goals down again today. Good crowd again here today at Vicarage Road, just under 21,000. Alan Young, who hasn't had the best of service on which to feed on his return from a groin injury, and finding it hard going against Steve Sims there. Linex. His peak. Checked nicely there. Ramsey on the far side. Here's Young. Feels for handball against Steve Sims. The Leicester players are racing across to the referee because they feel that if the O'Neill incident in the first half was a penalty, then they're entitled to one there. The ball again was driven at the player, rather. It was the former Leicester player Steve Sims and the Watford defence. And if he claimed there that the ball struck him, well then John O'Neill would say likewise in the first half. Ian Bolton. Taylor. That's it. Callaghan. 3 waiting in the middle now. Callaghan tumbles down, penalty. The second penalty of the match. Callaghan fouled. Larry May was the man responsible. And again the referee had no doubts. They're congratulating Callaghan, who made another one of those twisting runs of his. And Luther Blissett, having had 1 penalty saved, although he scored from the rebound, has now got a private war of nerves with Mark Wallington. Will he put it the same side? To the left of the goalkeeper as we look. That's Wallington's own right-hand side, where he made the save before. Blissett with his usual turn before the kick. Went the other way, saved, rebound, saved again. Well, Mark Wallington has saved 2 penalties in 1 match. Had no luck the first time when Blissett scored from the rebound. But this time, as Blissett headed the rebound back, he was placed to make the second save, and nobody would deny him that, surely. Melrose has got Linex on this side. He's got Young wide on the far side. Peake is now pushed into the centre as well. Still Linex. Oh, and turned in by Melrose, but Watford was standing when they should really have been marking. Melrose getting in to take advantage of Linex's ball through and pulling one back for Leicester, just to suggest perhaps that the match isn't quite as easy as Watford had begun to think it was. Melrose the scorer, 13 minutes from the end, and a hope after all perhaps for Leicester. In the meantime, Watford are going to make a substitution. Jerry Armstrong of Northern Ireland to come on in place of Ross Jenkins. An orthodox switch at centre forward. Well, the game did seem almost too easy for Watford, and Leicester have reminded them that there's still something at stake. MacDonald now. Leicester have got something to bite on. Oh, and look where Sherwood is, sensing the danger. He came to meet Melrose. The referee had already blown for a free kick, and the complaints which Pat Rice made as a result of that are going to get him booked. Now, there really is something here for Leicester to build on. They've got 1 goal back. Rostron is arguing with Young, and there's some pushing and pulling going on there that the referee may have to attend to. And look at that between Young and Lohman. moving away from Welsh. And Welsh tries to curl one, and it's just wide of the right-hand post. Alan Young, who's been contesting decisions with the referee, he's been arguing with one or two Watford players, but it shows that he, anyway, was not going to lay down today and allow Watford to, figuratively speaking, trample all over him and his team. They've got one back, Leicester. Fryer. And Taylor. And Armstrong. Oh, held them off well there, did Jerry Armstrong. What a great stop by Wallington. Terrific piece of football. Jerry Armstrong, having just come on, showing his power and determination, striking the ball well, and a magnificent save by a goalkeeper who'll remember this match in more ways than one. And Sims is going in there. Header out was by May. The turn by Ramsey. Back by Lohman. Here's Barnes. And that is the final whistle. And just how much harm that defeat will do to Leicester's promotion prospects. As Elton John applauds his team, only the other results and the matches still to come will tell us. Certainly it was a match that they could ill afford to lose. Jock Wallace knew that. But the season ends here at Vicarage Road on a very high note. Watford, having earned their place in the First Division, now beat Jock Wallace's team at the end of a very successful week for this Vicarage Road club. And the players just gathering in the centre circle to show how they feel about the backing they've received from the fans here at Watford this season. And I'm sure the feeling is absolutely mutual. The final score in Watford's last home league match: Watford 3, Leicester City 1.
Leicester lose ground in the promotion race, but knowing them, they'll not give up easily. But Watford are on top of the world. Everything seems to be going for them, but with their First Division football just around the corner, will they change their successful style and method?
Well, we keep getting asked this about the style of play. I don't really know what the style of play is. I mean, what we do, we want to go forward and we want to get the ball in the box as often as possible. And I mean, you yourself saw the junior side play here the other day with 8 goals, and a side, Manchester United junior side, playing the same way with people who wanted to attack goals. Now, I'm not too certain what style is necessary to do that, apart from if you had an attitude. If you say to me, will you change your approach or your attitude to the game, I will say quite emphatically no. Now, as regards style, I leave it to all the experts to decide what style we're giving. I mean, certainly we've been described in various quarters sometimes as simply a kick and rush side. I find that quite amazing that people in the game can say, well, there's a kick and rush side, and there we are sitting second in the division with 70-odd goals scored, only 30-odd conceded. If it is as simple as that, then I think that everybody ought to kick and rush it. But you know as well as I do, John, it's not that.
No, and it may be more sophisticated in the first, is the point I'm making.
More sophisticated. I hate that word being used where football's concerned. Football is a simple game. It's not a sophisticated game. It's a game for the man on the terraces. It's a game to excite the people. And I know this, that whatever level of football I watch, never mind of being involved in, the man on the terrace, when he sees something that is going to be exciting and create excitement, and usually it's in and around the penalty box, he will start to take great interest. He is not interested, in my opinion, of watching people play 15 and 16 consecutive passes in their own half of the field. Now, if we try to tell him he has to become more sophisticated, I think what he will say to us, as in fact he has been saying in the last few years, I'm not going to bother coming and watching you, because I just want to get excited about the whole thing. I hate sophisticated football.
All right, well, supposing your direct style wasn't a success early on in the
Now, you
First
said it was a
Division.
direct style, not
Well,
me.
OK, but you would accept that it is direct in the terms that we're talking about. Now, I mean, supposing the First Division defences and midfield, for that matter, were that little bit wiser than those that you've met in the second, and it wasn't working out. All I'm saying to you is, do you think you might have to think again, and if you like, become a little bit more patient or more technical, if you want to use that?
Well, we're thinking all of the time, John. I mean, all the time you think, you've never you can't crack this game. Yeah. You're learning all of the time, and you're watching, as we have done in the last 3 years in the second division. I mean, when we first came in, we only scored 39 goals in the first year in the second division. As I say, we've now got over 70, so perhaps we have learned. And if in fact we have to learn when we go into the first division, we'll learn all right, or we'll try our best to learn.
Well, it's certainly an optimistic end, Graham, to that conversation, and indeed to a remarkable season for you and a great week. And I suppose the thing to do now is to just sit back and enjoy it for a little while.
Well, I mean, when you get moments like this, you really do have to enjoy them, because there are many other times in football when you really wonder where the next goal's coming from.
I know this video was good, so if you like this, you'll definitely like this one.